And yet, our greatest growth is when we step outside of our comfort zone. That's where the things that you want for yourself, the life that you want for yourself sits, is outside of your comfort zone. You doing the things that you've never done before, the things that push you to your edge, the things that are uncomfortable, because that's where the growth is. And that's where the greatest opportunities are, is outside of your comfort zone. I want to share with you today 3 questions that I've been asking myself every single day since the beginning of the year, and that have had such a profound impact on me and such a profound impact on how I go through every single day. And I would almost be tempted to say that these are 3 questions that, if you were to ask yourself every single day, would change your life. So, what are these 3 questions? Well, the first question that I've been asking myself is, and these are questions that I've actually been journaling. So every single day, at the end of every day, asking myself these questions and then journaling about them. The first is, what am I proud of myself for? Or what can I celebrate myself for today? One of the things that I've learned, and one of the things that I've learned from one of my mentors who studies human behavior, is that we're so hard on ourselves as human beings. Rarely do we take the time to celebrate ourselves. Rarely do we take the time to acknowledge ourselves and our achievements. And yet, it has such a profound impact on how we feel about ourselves. Taking the time to be proud, to celebrate ourselves, to acknowledge our strengths. It's all things that lead to ultimately us loving ourselves, which, as you know, you've heard me talk about, is the foundation of creating whatever it is that you want in your life. And so the first question is, what am I proud of myself for? Or how can I celebrate myself for whatever it is that your day was? And one of the things that I want to point out here is that we're wired to negativity. We're wired to look for the negative, which is why it is so hard for us to celebrate ourselves, because it's human nature. It's what keeps us alive, is looking for the negative, scanning for what are all the potential dangers, because then we can protect ourselves from whatever it is. And so it isn't wired in us. It isn't a natural thing for us to celebrate, for us to be proud of ourselves. And so the first question is asking myself, what am I proud of? And how can I celebrate myself? The second question that I ask myself is, how did I show myself love? I talked about self-love a moment ago. And one of the things as well, going back to being hard on ourselves, that we don't often do is love on ourselves. We've been taught that self-love is egotistical, it's selfish, it's narcissistic. And yet, self-love, feeling our love for ourselves, feeling self-worth, valuing ourselves, is foundational to you achieving whatever it is that you want in your life, whether that's more money in your life, love in your life, whatever it is that you want. At its foundation, it comes from, how do you feel about you? Do you value yourself? Do you see your worth? And part of that is loving on yourself every single day. Self-love is so much more than just spa dates and manicures. Self-love is a daily practice. It is a daily commitment. It is a daily commitment to showing ourselves that we value ourselves. And so that needs to be a part of what we're looking to do. What we do every single day is, how am I showing myself love? And so that's the second question that I ask myself is, how did I show myself love? Sometimes I show myself love through, going to the spa and having a spa date. But sometimes showing myself love is being kind to myself, being compassionate with myself. Showing myself love sometimes is about having the courage to stand up for myself, having the courage to enforce boundaries, whether it's with others or even with myself. And so it's about reflecting on, how did I show myself love today? And then the third question that I ask myself is, What's a lesson I learned today? One of the things that we are as human beings is we're so afraid of disappointment. It's one of the wounds that we try and avoid at all costs is being disappointed, failing, seeing ourselves as failures. And yet when you think about it, if you're not failing, you're not trying. If you're not failing, it means that you're staying in your little bubble of comfort, that you're in your comfort zone. You didn't step outside of your comfort zone. You're only doing the things that keep you comfortable, that are familiar. And yet, our greatest growth is when we step outside of our comfort zone. That's where the things that you want for yourself, the life that you want for yourself sits, is outside of your comfort zone. You doing the things that you've never done before, the things that push you to your edge, the things that are uncomfortable, because that's where the growth is. And that's where the greatest opportunities are, is outside of your comfort zone. You've heard me say before that your comfort zone is where your dreams go to die. Your dreams die in your comfort zone because the only way that you can realize your dreams is doing things you've never done before. Because if you were doing things that worked, you clearly would already have achieved the things that you want to achieve. And so it's about asking yourself, what are the lessons that I learned today? Because it's in choosing to see opportunities for growth. It's in choosing to see the lessons in everything that happens that we grow, that we can become the most fully expressed versions of ourselves. And so that's what I want to invite you to. That's what I want to challenge you to, is every day, can you ask yourself those three questions? Ask yourself, what is it that I'm proud of myself for? What is it I'm celebrating myself for today? The second question is asking yourself, how did I show myself love today? And the third question is, what's a lesson that I learned today? Because if you learned a lesson, then you know you are growing. You know that you are stepping into a bigger, more powerful version of yourself. I truly believe that if every day you ask yourself those questions, every day you start your day knowing that you will need to answer those three questions, you will move differently through your life. And I truly believe that asking yourself those three questions is the key to you becoming the most fully expressed version of yourself. Because as you already know, you are worthy. You are worthy to be, you are worthy to do, and you are worthy to have an extraordinary life. Thanks for making me a part of your day today. And if you found this episode useful, please share it with somebody else who might enjoy it. And I would, of course, be grateful to you if you could subscribe on whatever platform it is that you're consuming this podcast. And also, if you could leave me a review. And here's the most important thing. I always want to hear from you. And I might actually even share your thoughts or questions on an upcoming episode. What I want to hear from you is what resonated for you today. What is it that you're going to implement in your life? Are you going to take all three questions, maybe one of the questions? But I want to hear from you. I want to hear what landed for you and what it is that you're inspired to do as a result. Thank you so much for making me a part of your day. I'll see you next time.